everybody would do it if building businesses was easy. The reality is that building an online business is personal development on steroids. That's why if you want to build an online business that's successful, you're going to have to deal with the problems, take them straight on, and not let them stop you. Welcome to the Certified Badass Online Marketing Podcast, where being a badass has less to do with what you wear and what music you listen to, and everything to do with whether you've got the thriving online business of your dreams. I'm your renegade thinking Harvard Law grad turned online entrepreneur host, Bobby Klink. In my years building my thriving business, the most important lesson I've learned is that being a badass online marketer isn't about secret strategies or ninja tactics. It's about doing the basic stuff right and showing the F up. So each week here on the show, you'll get clear, easy to execute guidance on how to build your online business and a swift kick in the ass or two to make sure you're getting it done. Hey there, welcome to episode 132 of the Certified Badass Online Marketing Podcast. I'm your host, Bobby Klink, and today's episode is one that, I'm kind of excited about, but you may not love hearing. It's one of my kind of swift kick in the ass episodes. And what I'm going to be talking about is I'm going to be addressing something that I see a lot in the online space. I see a lot of online entrepreneurs getting upset when they face problems and being annoyed by problems and talking about how they're overwhelmed by the problems and the difficulties they face in their business, right? It's something that I see a lot, and you probably see it too. And what I'm going to encourage you to do today in this short Foundations Friday episode is to shift your mindset. And I'm going to ask you to, instead of being annoyed by problems, to embrace the problems that you face in your business. And I know that may seem kind of aggressive, but I'm going to tell you, if you will actually embrace problems and come to love them, it will shift everything in your business. And I think it will help you to move forward where you might otherwise be stuck. So let's dive in. And I'm going to give you 3 reasons in turn why you should embrace problems. And the first one is a very simple and very kind of, I don't know if ego-driven one or what the way to put it is, but it's this. If there weren't problems that were in your way of building your business, there's no way you could have a business. And here's why. Because if there were no problems, if building a business were easy and there weren't going to be challenges along the way, somebody else would have already done it. Because everybody would do it if building businesses was easy. The reality is that building an online business is personal development on steroids. That's why if you want to build an online business that's successful, you're going to have to deal with the problems, take them straight on, and not let them stop you. Because if you let them stop you, what will end up happening is you're going to end up just being, kind of like everybody else who thinks that this should be easy. No one ever said that building a business is easy. The reality is that building a business is about overcoming the problems, overcoming the challenges. And the people that you see who are successful in the online business world, just like every other business world, oftentimes they're not the ones who had the best idea. They oftentimes aren't the most charismatic, or at least didn't start out as the most charismatic. They're not the ones who inherently necessarily get stuff, although there are some who check each one of those characteristics. But in reality, the people who you see, the entrepreneurs who you look up to, who I look up to in the space, they're the people who were just too damn stubborn to give up. They were the ones who said, okay, there's a problem. I'm going to figure out a way around it. I'm going to deal with it. I'm going to solve that problem. And so if you want to have a successful business, you have to take that same approach. But you should embrace the fact that there are those problems, because that's what prevents other people from having already done what you're doing. So part of, the first reason why you should embrace problems is because you need to recognize that it's only because this is hard that you or I have any chance of building successful businesses, because otherwise there'd be, too many competitors for us to ever succeed. That takes us to the second reason. And the second reason is kind of an interesting one, but it's also a mindset shift that I want you to think about. Your customers are only customers because they are facing a problem. If this were a world where there weren't problems, where whatever you teach were easy, then they wouldn't need you. In other words, if the legal stuff were simple and easy and no one ever really needed help from anybody to get it done, then I could never have built my business about the legal stuff. Similarly, if marketing was easy, if building an online business were easy, people wouldn't come to me to listen to this podcast, to join my Fans First Society, or to do any of the other stuff that I want them to do. So I need to embrace that my customers have problems, and it would be kind of weird if I embraced that, but somehow thought that I shouldn't have problems in my business. See, it's kind of this weird thing where I talk about, if you are, if you can't embrace your own problems, it's going to be a mindset issue that will affect other things. And it's kind of analogous to this situation that I see all the time. I will see people go into a free group from one of my friends who teaches people how to build online courses. You can probably guess who I'm talking about. But people will go into her free group and talk about how they launched and no one bought from them, and how, that they can't understand why people won't buy from them, etc. And when I see that, here's the comment that I often make to them. I say, well, you're posting this in the free group rather than the paid group, the group for students. So I'm guessing you haven't invested in an online course to help you build your business, or at least to build your online course. So if you're unwilling to invest in an online course, why would you expect your customers to invest in an online course? And when I say that, they often don't have a good response. And we're not exactly in that situation, but with the concept of problems, to me, it's similar. If we expect our customers to not just throw up their hands and say, screw it, I'm not going to deal with this, but instead to come and take the information that we give them to try to solve their problems, if we expect them to do that, then we need to have the same attitude. If we have an attitude of getting pissed off and throwing our hands in the air when we have a problem and saying, screw it, I'm not going to try to solve that problem, I'm just going to give up, then why wouldn't our customers have the same approach? Chances are we will end up attracting those very same people to our world who will give up rather than invest in our products. So if you want your customers to embrace the concept that there are problems, but they can solve them, you need to have that same attitude. And for you, the problems are in your business. And for your customers, the problems are in whatever you're going to teach them how to solve. So again, if you want to attract people who will be problem solvers and not people who get all upset, then you have to have that same energy and that same approach to the world. So that's the second reason. Now, the third reason, it's kind of related to that first one, but I'm just going to put it for people who maybe don't believe in the notion that kind of we attract the people who are like us. I'm simply going to say it like this. If you're someone who gets pissed off by problems all the time, you're going to end up being negative all the time, and you're just going to repel people. you're going to repel everybody. Now, if you've listened to me for a long time, you've heard me probably say that I want you to repel some people, right? I want you to repel the wrong people and attract the right people. But if you're negative all the time, if that's your attitude, if you're just always in a bad mood because of problems in your business or anything else, you're going to repel just about everybody because people don't want to be around negative Nellies. At least people who want to pay money will not want to do that. And so with that in mind, I would say that you need to make sure that like problems don't become this thing that just puts you in a bad headspace. The easiest way to do that is to simply embrace them. Accept that they're going to come, embrace them and say, okay, here's something else that I get to deal with. Not I have to deal with, I get to deal with. Here's a problem I get to solve. So if you will shift to that mindset, you will actually avoid having the negativity. And if you can avoid having the negativity, you will avoid repelling the people. So that's the third reason. So in a nutshell, what it comes down to is kind of, it's all really kind of mindset and looking at it and understanding that if this were easy, if there weren't problems in the world, we would have no businesses. First, we wouldn't have a business because everybody else would have already helped people solve the problems that we're going to help them solve. But also, if there weren't problems in the world, our potential customers wouldn't have problems in the first place for us to help them solve. And so you can kind of see how there need to be problems for business to exist. But then beyond that, we have to just avoid being negative to repel people. So that's my pitch to you. Embrace the problems. Don't see them as problems. See them as things that you get to do and then get to solve. And then you'll have the right mindset. So that's my call to action to you. Now, one of the big problems that I know a lot of people on my list deal with or in my community deal with is building their list. When I have surveyed people over and over again, what I've heard from them is, that they are adding fewer than 10 people to their email list every week. On average, it's something like 75% of people who are on my list and respond to surveys say that. And I'm just going to be frank with you and candid. If you want to build an online business, you got to be adding more than that to your list every single week, week in and week out, because the strength of your list will determine the strength of your business. So if that's you, I have a free resource. You can get my business building bootcamp, which includes a list building bootcamp and a content bootcamp to help you with creating the right content and also building your list, which are two key components of any online business. You can get it absolutely free by heading over to bobbyklink.com/BB bootcamps. Again, bobbyklink.com/BB bootcamps. You can join for free. Go in there, start building your list. If you're not doing that, that is a problem you need to address right away. You need to take it head on and just deal with it. And you need to start creating content the same way. So go over, grab the business building boot camps and start solving problems, start doing those things today. So that's it for this episode of the Certified Badass Online Marketing Podcast. I'll be back with you next week with 2 more episodes. Until then, don't forget, keep going out and building the badass business of your dreams. That's it for this episode of the Certified Badass Online Marketing Podcast. Make sure to tune in next time. And in the meantime, go out and build the badass business of your dreams.